So today we're looking at Wyoming. We're in the early 1900s. We're dealing with fancy embossed shapes in dinnerware and in toiletware. So this toiletware shape is part of our group with Mingo, Wyoming Bridal and Duchess, where we see all these different types of treatments. It's the height of production with all this expansion going on at Homer Laughlin. As we saw in the Mingo video, we see gold stamps, we see underglaze prints, we see blended tints, there's decals. We'll start by looking at the shape itself, which the handles are rather thick with this little thorny design on top, and that's a distinguishing feature you'll find on the Wyoming shape. The embossing, which can be hard to see ordinarily on certain pieces, has a typical fancy ornate design to it. We can see it better on the ones with blended tint like this one. This large ewer has pattern number 7051, which is the blue blended tint, and we see the little ornate embossing on the top of the body. So we'll look at some treatments real quick. We'll start with some decals. This one is pattern number 2189, and it has our decals with these little hand-painted blue accents. Sometimes they're in pink. And we see this same decal being used in another version with blue blended tint, and this one is treatment number 7087. We have some gold stamps with this daisy treatment. This is used on several different toiletware shapes, and this is number 2232. Here's the same daisy stamp, but with a little gold border on the mid body, and this is number 2236. And we have the general Homer Laughlin back stamp here. So this is from around 1910 or thereabouts. You don't see the Wyoming shape name. Again, on all of these toiletware shapes, you will not see any of the shape names. And this is particularly important with Wyoming because there was another pottery that had its own Wyoming shape with a Wyoming marking. But if you find anything marked Wyoming, then it is not Homer Laughlin. It should just have an ordinary Homer Laughlin back stamp, or even the eagle and lion, like this one. Sometimes we'll have a date code. This one is from 1915. This little shaving mug with stipple. And we see our little thorn on the handle for the Wyoming shape. Another pattern, this is a pretty interesting one. This is called Passion Flower. And it has a little Dutch windmill in the back. And this is 2269 and a half. The half means that there's no gold on this. If there was gold on it, then it would be 2269. It would just have some like gold line and gold tracings. The image on the reverse, or the print on the reverse I should say, is another Passion Flower Underglaze print. This particular color that was used was myrtle green. There's also a light green version. And when I talk about these Underglaze prints, they're in one color. They were often made in multiple colors, so you would have like a whole series of them. For example, this blue rose underglaze print, which is on the shaving mug, was also made in pink, and several other colors as well, like the myrtle green or even a brown or purple. We have another underglaze print, but this has filled in details. We saw quite a bit of these on the Mingo shape. You don't see nearly as many as you do on Wyoming, and it has gold stipple up top. And this is pattern number 2375. We see our flag iris again. We saw this on Mingo, but in a different color combination. Filled in details. 2164. Another thing you'll notice, these treatment numbers, sometimes they're handwritten in gold, sometimes they're stamped. This one's a blended tint in pink with gold stipple. You usually don't see that type of combination. And this one is pattern number 7074. We've got the eagle and lion marking. A rather common treatment on Wyoming, and other shapes as well, is just plain old gold stipple. This is 714. Very common treatment. There's one piece I wanted to show, and I think it's over here. It is. Majestic. We need to talk about this back stamp for a minute. It's an underglaze marking that was used on the Wyoming shape as well as Hudson, maybe even other pieces. But the Majestic marking was intended for Butler Brothers, for their wholesale catalogs. So if you see this marking on wares that's either decorated or not decorated, that's what it's for. It doesn't refer to any specific type of decoration. It does not refer to any specific type of shape, though you will normally find it on Wyoming and Hudson dinnerware. Oh, this treatment, by the way, is 2278, one of several gold stamp designs. So that's going to be it for Wyoming. Very common shape. All these 4 shapes we're looking at, again, Mingo, Wyoming, Bridal, and Duchess. I know I said this in the previous video, but these 4 are very important because they're made during the height of the bottle kiln production. And some of these pieces that we saw, I think we looked at one here a minute ago from 1915. You'll find dates from 1914. There's one from 1914. Once you get to 1919 or 1920, it starts to diminish. By the time you get to 1929, there's no more toiletware being offered. So next time we'll look at bridal.